Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Steve Dixon. Welcome to the Typical Boro podcast, the last podcast of 2024. Yeah, that's right. We're going to have a little break for Christmas, but don't worry, Boro fans. We're going to be back 5th of January, ready to go after a little rest for Christmas. So, having a look at my screen, and I have the ever present. Hold on. I was going to say the ever present Graham Bandy. We've got Santa Claus on the screen. Welcome to the podcast for the Christmas.
Bad Santa.
And alongside him, appearance number 2 for Simon Blower. Welcome back, Simon.
Thank you for having me, Steve. And you got my name right this time as well, which is always a bonus, Steve.
It is, yeah.
We just let that one ride, Simon. It's too funny.
Right, so we'll get straight into the Boro chat because, as you know, Middlesbrough got a superb, hard-fought, resilient, fighting 3 points against Millwall, where we showed all our qualities. Michael Carrick, getting Dale Fry on, going 5 at the back. And everything was looking good. Michael Carrick's got his tactics spot on. Middlesbrough looked hard to beat, solid at the back. We're going to Plymouth Argyle, bottom of the league. Conceded the most goals in the league, scored the least goals in the league. Middlesbrough Football Club, hold my beer, 3-3. Of course we're going to draw 3-3. It's Plymouth. So the team's news on the day, LATTE, Middlesbrough's goal scorer and winning goal scorer against Millwall, of course, dropped for Conway. Bergzog come out the team for McGree, and the injured Luke Ayling made way for Dyke Steele. And an interesting little point on the bench, no Senny Dieng. Senny Dieng has picked up a little knock and was missing for the squad. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops with the January window looming, but we'll get into that shortly. Simon, I'll come to you first. What were your thoughts on the team news?
So initially I was fairly happy, I have to say. I was slightly surprised he dropped LATTE after a good week's rest. I'm a big believer that, watching Arsenal last night, Jesus scored midweek, keep him in the team, confidence high. I was thinking a bit of a risk taking a striker that scored out the team. You've chatted a lot about Riley on this show. I've never been unhappy Riley being in the team, but we'll get into the game and how that impacted later on. But I wasn't overly disappointed with the team. The LATTE one surprised me a little bit, I have to say.
Yeah, I was the same. Graham, were you happy with the lineup, or would you rather seen LATTE? Because your friend, close friend Bernie Slavin always goes on, when you're in form, when you're firing, when you're scoring goals. Bernie would have been knocking Michael Carrick's door down, wouldn't he, after a week's rest and scoring against Millwall?
Well, Carrick's obviously a big fan of the rotation system and keeping players fresh. Si makes a good point. He scored, keep him in. But I don't mind Conway coming back into the team because we all know what he's capable of. He's a terrific player, and as is LATTE at the moment, who was in form. So I didn't mind too much. I thought that was arguably one of our strongest teams we could have put out yesterday, barring injury. Obviously, it'd be nice to have seen Ayling in there. He's a bit of a favourite of mine on that right back slot. But there's an hour argument to be playing him left back when he's fit after yesterday. So no, I was happy. Good lineup and more than capable of taking them to the cleaners, really, considering their low league position. But it never materialised like that, did it?
So Simon, I'll come to you on the first half display. What went wrong? Because I don't know if you were like me, but I was actually delighted to get in only 1-0 down at half time. What went wrong that first half, Simon?
So I thought first 10 minutes, I thought we started really well. I thought we looked comfortably the best team, and I thought, it's a type of game we should have gone on and won. And then the injury they had, the guy, is he going on, is he going off? That definitely seemed quite a big turning point. I don't know, I think they tactically changed it when they made that substitute. And then we never got going after that. And like you, I thought we were really lucky to come in only 1-0 down. It was, the goal was coming, wasn't it? It was coming for a while. We didn't seem to be able to get a grip. I think what we do really badly at times, we drop so deep. So the gap between the back four and Conway, who hasn't got the legs of a LATTE, to be honest. So when you play really deep, you're not playing to Conway's strengths at all. huge gaps across the pitch. We were still trying those passes through the lines. They were picking them off. And like you, Steve, I thought we were really lucky to get in at half-time, only 1-0 down.
Yeah. I mean, the first goal, you've just mentioned it there. It was coming. They were getting in down the right, down the left, time and time again. I felt sorry for Dyke-Steele. I felt sorry for Borges to a point, because I didn't think they were getting much help from Ben Doak. And I didn't think they were getting much help from Riley McGree, who seemed incapable or didn't want to put the hard yards in and track back and help them. And they were exposed, especially Borges, time and time again. He was exposed down the side. And like you, it was only a matter of time before they got in and made one of them chances that were flashing across the Middlesbrough box into the back of the net.
Yeah,
Graham, the first goal, you've seen the first goal.
Oh, brutal. I couldn't understand why Edmondson had come so far out to check his man. The guy's feigned to go one way, then he's checked the other way. He's laid it wide, and the winger's got acres of space. Dyke-Steele's about 20 yards away from him. He's got to get tight. He's got to close him. He's got to stop the cross. And that happened on the other side regularly with Borges as well. They had so much joy in them sort of high up wide positions that it was a matter of time before they were going to score. That first half was very reminiscent to Leeds, where we literally windswept. We just didn't know where we were. And there was no communication, no cohesion, almost like a boxer on the ropes early into a fight. So it was pitiful, really. Shambolic defending.
Yeah, when we got the ball, sorry, Steve. Yeah.
No, go on, Simon.
When we got the ball, I don't know whether it was an inch. We seemed to be really smacking the passes into each other. I don't know whether it was the conditions that they'd said put an extra bit on it.
Put a bit more on it, yeah.
There was passes that were coming in, and it was like bounces straight back off, particularly the central midfielders. I felt a bit for them in a way that they were getting some bad passes into them. But they both had a really poor first half, Howson and Hackney. And I think I said on the last time I was on here, the central midfield is such a key part of any game. And it was just, whether it was the pitch was too spread, whether it was the passing, we just couldn't get a grip in the middle of the park, which then left the two fullbacks really exposed because, as you said, they were getting no help whatsoever from the two wide men.
I don't know if it's the combination of Howson and Hackney just not working or what have you, but they were a shocking first half. Hayden Hackney in particular, he's passing.
Yeah.
I've never seen him give the ball away so often, so frequently in a game, and they weren't even difficult passes, just 5-yard passes, 10-yard passes. Giving the ball to Plymouth, who were then breaking on Middlesbrough time and time again. I said, for goodness sake, one of yous, either Howson or Hackney, need to have a word with each other, and one of them's going to have to take the lead to keep hold of the ball.
Yeah.
And just get a breather, because we're just giving the ball back time and time again to Plymouth, who are then recycling the ball, getting it wide, getting down the flanks and exposing it. And I thought when half-time came, and I know Michael Carrick doesn't like to do this with his changes early on, but I was like, for once, I think he's going to have to change something here, whether it's bringing Barlasser on or bringing a LATTE on up front just to relieve the pressure with his pace, so we've got an out ball over the top. I thought something's got to change at half-time. And I was really disappointed when I seen the same 11 come jogging back out for the second half. What was your thoughts on that, Simon?
Yeah, I was the same. I was trying to think what I would have done. I think it definitely sat Howson a bit deeper second half. I think there was a little tweak in the central midfield, and Zaz seemed to drop in a little bit as well. But I think Borges has played a lot of football, so I'm not going to really kick him because I think he's guilty that we just don't have a backup there. But it reminded me of the Chef Way game, his performance first half. He had him on toast, the right winger. And I was thinking, could he put Van den Berg to left back and bring Fry on for a bit more? I thought we needed to do something defensively, to be honest. Because I think I expected us to score, because we usually do, and they definitely looked open, Plymouth. But it felt inevitable to me that we were going to concede more goals without changing anything at the back. And I think if we hadn't tightened up at the back, if we had made that change and, brought Fry on, put Van den Berg to left back with the attacking intent that we had, I think we'd have won the game. But, I'm sat in my dining room. I'm not sat in the Middlesbrough a dressing room. So I'm with you, Steve. I think a tweak. I'm the same with LATTE. I think with the pitch being, we're kicking downwind second half. It was very obvious we were going to be hitting balls over the top. I think you have your quickest player on the pitch. So I would have definitely added pace to either the left, because Riley had a terrible first half, or LATTE up top. Again, just as that out ball, if we were struggling a little bit, because I think when we have Riley and Conway up there, I love Conway, but I think he is a yard short of pace. I don't think we've got that out ball. And that meant the ball was just being recycled. So yeah, I'm with you. Sorry, long answer, but I would have made changes. I agree.
So we actually get back in the game. Ironically, one of the fellas that wasn't having the best time of it, Johnny Howson, to be fair, he kept going and he got up back in it. Ben Doak chips the ball back to Howson, just inside the box, gets a shot off, gets a deflection, wrong foot to the goalkeeper. You get 1-1, and you think, right, we're back in the game now, 1-1. Come on, Boro, let's get on top of them, make your changes, Michael. Let's go and win the game. It's there for, because for that moment in the game, it took the wind out of Plymouth's sails, because Plymouth should have been away out of sight 2 or 3 up by that stage. And suddenly, 50 minutes on the clock, it's 1-1 in Middlesbrough on top. You're thinking, right, come on, make the changes. Let's go and win the game now. They'll be absolutely decimated, devastated by this. Yet, no changes happen, and the same mistakes continue to happen. 72 minutes, Giabi makes it 2-1 to Plymouth. Bundu goes down the wing, who caused us trouble. He was a good player, that fella.
Yeah, well,
he was causing with trouble all afternoon. And he got down, the cross comes in, and Giabi puts the ball in the back of the net, and suddenly we're 2-1 down, 72 minutes. And so going from a strong position of thinking we're going to go on and win the game, suddenly it's changed again. In Middlesbrough, 2-1 down, you're looking at the clock. You're thinking, come on, Michael, what are you going to do? There he goes. You see on the touchline, there they are. Substitutions ready to come on. Dijksteel, LATTE comes on, and Bergzog comes on, and Dan Barlaser all come on. 75 minutes. And you're thinking, why didn't you do that 10 minutes earlier when it was ones each?
He could have staggered the subs as well, instead of just bringing them all on at the same time, because that just causes immediate chaos, in my opinion. But it never worked.
It was just, I couldn't understand it. It was frustrating. But, what's it, 5 minutes later, Middlesbrough equalise. So Carrick's probably thinking, well, I might have put them on too late, but we're back in the game. Hayden Hackney with the goal. Gets a lovely ball put through to him by Bergzog, to be fair, come on as substitute, slips him in down the right-hand side, gets his shot off. Keeper should do better. Ball comes off the goalkeeper. Hackney gets the rebound. We're 2-2. Second opportunity for Middlesbrough, Simon, to go and win the game.
Yeah.
What happens?
Crazy. It was that balance for me at 1-1. I was thinking back to the Leeds game and the podcast you guys did afterwards, where it's like there are certain games where you go, right, let's take it. Let's take the point. We should have been battered first half. We got back into the game. There was definitely a little bit of a stick or twist. But then when you look at the opposition, the bottom of the league, we've got higher aspirations. And with you, I think the Bergzog changed. He was already about to come on pre the goal, because they panned over. And there's an argument, if he was on that left-hand side for that second goal, he might have given a little bit more help to Borges. But yeah, 2-2. Again, can we go and win the game? It felt like it was one of those days, and yeah, for them to then score again was just crazy. We just slept in again, didn't we? It was just rank bad defending. We'll get to it, I'm sure. But one of my concerns all season has been a defending. I think, I think they've had a lot of praise at defence that's unjustified, in my opinion. I don't think they're as good as people give them credit for at times. And they were brutally exposed yesterday.
Yeah, but Bandy, the third goal for Plymouth, better, whips straight across the face of goal. Nobody challenging.
Dijksteel way off his man, not tight enough. Ball comes in, no one's anticipating where it's going to drop, and then the guy's just ghosted in, back post, can't miss. Just about time in your run, but we didn't react. As soon as that ball comes in, we're like statues. Someone's got to get hold of somebody and say, pick a man up, please, because that obviously that put them 3-2. in our defence, we did come back 3 times in the game, so that did show a little bit of character. But to go to Plymouth and score 3 goals, you're thinking that should be 3 points. But for whatever reason, we've conceded 3, and it's just, it's not good enough. It did remind me of that Leeds game where, like I said earlier, we were a bit windswept. We didn't know where we were. There's just no cohesion. No one got a grip of the game. No one was there to take the sting out of it. And just, it was poor. It was poor. We need to be going there and winning, really.
Yeah,
LATTE gets the equaliser, Simon, 3-3. Corner comes in, headed back across. Very, very good header back across, by the way, by Rav Vandenberg at the far post. Heads it back across. LATTE, great finish on the volley.
Finish, yeah, right.
Really, really great finish. High quality, right in front of the Boro fans, who I thought, credit to them for making the trip 1800 down there.
Yeah, fantastic.
All that way before Christmas was sensational support again. Delighted that they didn't get beat for the travelling army. We'll get the 3-3, LATTE. What's LATTE thinking for Boxing Day, Simon? Surely he starts against Sheffield.
Oh, he has to start against Sheffield. Has to start against Sheffield. My only thought yesterday was, are they planning for the fact, we have got a few games coming up quite quickly. They're rotating the squad with that in mind, but the balance, as I say, is, there's a good week's rest before the game. But yeah, he has to start, Boxing Day for me. He looks at it, which is great. And I think for me, when he's at it, as good as Conway is, LATTE is a better striker than Conway. When he's at it, when he's focused. I
liked his reaction when he scored. He ran straight back and wanted to get on with it and try and get another one.
Yeah,
that was a positive.
He worked his, as you expect a professional footballer to do when you come on, but he worked, really hard when he came on that pitch. Like he had a point to prove. And, again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There might be a bit of transfer talk again. His mind might have not been quite on it. So, that's the decisions that we're not privy to that information, I guess. And that might have had an influence. But he definitely looked like a man with a point to prove when he came on. And definitely a great finish. Just coming back to Plymouth, I think, giving them a bit of credit, we often criticise Middlesbrough for poor quality into the box, poor final ball. The quality of their crossing yesterday was brilliant. We stood up, but there was some really good crosses coming into the box from them. I think it probably some of the best wide play we've seen, to be honest, against us this season.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You could see they'd really worked on that as well, Si.
Yeah, you can see they know our weakness. And we don't communicate particularly.
Exactly.
I don't think we're a quiet team. There's nobody shouting and bawling. We've got a newish keeper in the net. And I think they played on that. Let's get the ball in the box whenever we get a chance. Yeah.
They've identified our weaknesses, as of numerous managers in recent weeks, and they're seriously targeting Borges now.
Yeah.
So, like we mentioned earlier, does Riley or whoever plays on the left need to come back and help him out? I'm not so sure. He should be capable, really, of holding his position as a left back. Some players shouldn't need the hands holding. Come back and help me out. His job is to be a defender. So defend, do it better.
Yeah.
Let the attacking players attack. We scored 3 goals. That should have been enough to win the game. So for me, defensively, we've come unstuck, and the defence has let the team down, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought. I'm sorry.
So I was just going to say, Simon, I thought Plymouth didn't look like a bottom 3 team on the day. Apparently, they played very, very well the week before Sheffield United, but got done 2-0. Graham, you were just wanting to make a point regarding Wayne Rooney appointing Mike Phelan, weren't you?
I was, yeah, because when we appointed Carrick, I was keen for him to appoint an experienced backroom staff member. Phelan was in Rooney's ear all game yesterday, and that advice is invaluable. He's been in the game long enough to spot things straight away. He'll have said, that left back's no good, get at him. The right back's having a mare, get at him. Get the ball in the box quick because they don't react. And that's how they scored the 3 goals. It was so simple, really. And we still sort of scratching our head wondering what's happened. As fans, we can see what's happened, but Carrick doesn't seem to be able to see that. He should have reacted yesterday quicker, and he should have done it at Leeds as well. We've got ourselves back into the game in both games in situations, and we've thrown it away again. So not good enough. Simple as. Got to improve, otherwise we'll be left scratching our head at the end of the season saying another what if. Let's be the bridesmaids again. Why can't we ever be the bride,
Simon, just on Graham's point there, do Middlesbrough miss another figure in that technical area? Because if you're a manager and it's not in your nature, your makeup, to be an explosive figure, jumping around and, a leader type on the touchline. Do you need somebody alongside you to do that for you? And I'm thinking back to Middlesbrough with Leo Perkovic. I'm looking at Eddie Howe at Newcastle, who's really calm, but he's got Jason Tyndall working his ticket on the touchline. And I was watching yesterday, and I was, you could see Mike feeling up and barking out instructions alongside Wayne Rooney. And you're looking at Middlesbrough's dugout, and you just see Michael Carrick standing there with his hands in his pockets. Did Middlesbrough miss somebody in the technical area to help like that?
I think so. I made exactly the same point about Mike feeling to Bandy in a message. It was very noticeable to me, and even when they made the appointment a week or so ago, it's obvious Rooney needed a bit of help, to be honest. It'd be a different way than what Michael Carrick needs help. But yeah, he looks quite an isolated figure, and that's obviously intentional for him. But I also question, are the guys alongside him, Ledbetter's new to it, Woodgate, being there, are they giving him the right advice? Does he want their advice? My impression was when Danks was there, he definitely seemed a lot more active on that touchline with him. I felt like he was given a lot more instruction. He seemed to have a little bit more, it felt like a bit more power, a bit more say. He'd be shouting on instructions. I don't see any of that from the current people on the bench. So yeah, I do think I've always felt young managers benefit from having a bit of experience alongside them. If you look at even Fergie prided his career on having a brilliant lieutenant. Whether it was McLaren, the Portuguese guy, I forgot his name, but he'd mix that up, wouldn't he? He'd have somebody.
Archie Knox in his earlier days.
Carlos Quiroz, is it? Carlos Quiroz?
Carlos Quiroz.
Yeah, lots of them went on to be managers as well. But he really bounced off that number 2 that was alongside him. And I wouldn't even know naturally who is the current number 2 in that setup. I guess it's Woodgate, but it's definitely something that I think is missing. I do agree.
It would have been interesting yesterday to see how Carrick would have reacted if we'd have actually got in front. Maybe he might have reverted to type, which he did against Millwall, which saw us win the game. But we were always chasing. We were always shooting ourselves in the foot. And dare I say, we're a little bit Spurs at the moment, where we're taking teams on toe-to-toe, which is commendable. But let's just have a little bit more nous. I watched the Spurs Man United game, and that was carnage. And that reminded me of our game yesterday. Just end-to-end stuff, pantomime stuff at times. It really was. Crazy. I mean, that Spurs Man United game, the keepers were shambolic, but defensively yesterday we just weren't at it.
Yeah, and it's you play this really calm football from the goalkeeper sometimes, and then it gets into midfield. It seems to fly around like a pinball machine. That's the bit that I don't think we seem to be able to get control of a game of football. It seems mad that you allow that time for everybody to find the position. We roll it across the back 4 or whatever, and then suddenly it gets into Azaz or Howson or Hackney, and it's like we have to play that quick forward pass. And again, it's obviously tactical, but I think it's definitely that middle of the part where at times we just need to take the sting out the game when we're up against it, and we seem incapable of doing that.
Losing Morris was a killer blow. We said so at the time, and we were fortunate. As soon as we lost him, we had a run of games which were very, very favourable, and Barlaza came in and looked fairly comfortable. But he was easily found out in some of the stronger games, Burnley namely and Leeds. So we're definitely missing him. I think we'd be maybe 2 or 3 wins better off with him back in the team, Morris. But I did think we wouldn't see him this year, and I don't think we will.
Graham, you mentioned before that Middlesbrough have gone all a little bit Spursy.
Yeah, I do think we have.
We've gone a bit Spursy, right? So, come to both of yous. Michael Carrick, let's have it right. We're looking at 5th or 6th spot again, in his third time in a row under Michael Carrick. We've never really, apart from a few games with the Tuber Akpom side and stuff that pushed a little bit to Sheffield United, we've never really looked like a side capable of attacking under Michael Carrick. Those top 2 positions, is that? Oh, what I'm trying to say is, are we ever going to be able to attack the top 2 with Michael Carrick as manager? And what I mean by that is, his tactics are, I play my way, I won't change, I'm not going to bend, I'm not going to, the Millwall game was like a real shock to me that he actually went to a back 5 and settled it down and we won the game 1-0, and I was delighted to see that. But that's happens, once every 50 games under him? Unless he's going to change his tactics over a 46-game season and go horses for courses when you're going to a Sunderland away or a Leeds away or Sheffield United away, I don't think under Michael Carrick, unless he's going to change, we're ever going to be able to be consistently a side that's going to be getting 1-0s, 2-1s, 1-0, 2-1s, and get the points on the board and attacking that top two. We're always going to be, like what you've said, Graham, in my opinion, like Spurs, where we're great on the eye, we're great to watch, we can take apart mid-table teams, the lower teams, but when the push comes to shove, we're always just going to fall a little bit short. What's your thought on that, Graham?
I agree. I'll touch back on what I said about experience. I think, obviously, Carrick's still in his infancy in management, so he's still learning. He's learning week by week, season by season, so he's still got a lot of time on his side, but he's bought that time by playing some really, really nice football. It's the football that I personally like to see. You know, I'm a bit of a purist, so I do like to see us playing through thirds, playing through lines, trying to pick teams off, be patient and wait for your chance. But adding that experience would give him a different viewpoint, I think, on certain games. For instance, yesterday, we know they're struggling at the bottom. We know they're going to come bang at us. So maybe we could have switched yesterday and gone back 5 and made us really, really difficult to beat, and then picked them off on the counter-attack. Possibly somebody like Mike Phelan would have spotted that because he's been in the game long enough to know that. Like I said, Carrick's still learning, and I'm sure I was a little bit disappointed actually after the Millwall game when he did change it, and he came out on record and said that was one of his favourite managerial moments, which we've got to give him credit for. He did change it. He brought Fry on. We switched to a back 5, and Millwall never really got a sniff. We closed the game out. It's just unfortunate we never got in a lead yesterday for him to be able to do that, because he might have done that, and we might be having a different conversation in terms of, can he change it? So he's proved that he can, but for me, he doesn't do it often enough when he's got the opportunity.
Simon, I'm just going to say this, I'm going to be honest here, and a lot of people who listen to this will probably agree with this, and a lot of people will think I'm talking absolute nonsense. But I'm just going to be honest. As a Middlesbrough fan, I preferred watching Middlesbrough under Aitor Karanka in the Championship. And the reasons were, I thought we were defensively superb. I thought we had attacking threats in wide areas, attacking threats up front. We knew how to kill a game off. I was confident we could kill a game off and shut a game down. We were ruthless at home, very rarely lost at home. Michael Carrick, yes, he's entertaining on the eye. You're going to score more goals than an Aitor Karanka team. But I don't think you're ever going to get to where you need to be under playing this way. I always think you're going to fall short unless we get lucky in the playoffs, which is quite possible to get lucky in the playoffs. But in terms of attacking the top two, I don't see Michael Carrick at the moment, the way he's playing and his style of management, is going to get us where we need to be, which is the Premier League.
Yeah, I think so. Just to echo Graham's point, I do think I'm a football purist as well, and I really love some of the football under Carrick. And yeah, he's a young manager. I don't think young English coaches get a chance, so it fits the brief for me. I'm glad he's at our football club. I think the bit that I think he does deserve criticism for is the in-game management. So by that I mean, I think he set up a team yesterday. He looked at Oxford away and went, they're bottom of the league. We can pass it apart. So he set up initially for me, no problems at all. We said about the team, maybe LATTE playing. The challenge, I think, and it's a bit of a Gareth Southgate thing for England as well, like that ability to change when you're up against it or it's not working or somebody's getting exposed, whether it's a substitution or a tactical change. That's a bit I think we've really struggled with. And the other bit, as you say, Dicko, is winning ugly sometimes. You know, the Karanka side, I think, was a blueprint of how you get out of the Championship. I think he played great. You know, you have to be difficult to beat. But we debated it when I was on the podcast, I think, last time about the different teams, you know, the APCOM team, this team, Karanka's team. And it ultimately comes to be difficult to beat and defending well. And I don't think we've had a spell, maybe the Tommy Smith, Lenihan, Giles, Dale Fry defence where you went, yeah, there's a good chance we might keep a clean sheet today. I think this season I felt that we're looking like we're going to concede a goal in every game. And that's a big worry because you don't, you know, you have to outscore the opposition. And so, I guess alongside that is, I didn't have expectations of top two. I think it is difficult to compete with the teams coming down. I think it's difficult to compete with teams with parachute payments. So there's always a balance for me of, we're playing good football, the playoffs is realistic. But yeah, I think we have to make change. He has to learn. And maybe that's why he did enjoy last week, Ray. Maybe he knows himself that he's not been able to make changes in game that have impacted on a result. And he did that at Millwall, and that's why he enjoyed it. Because
I think last week was almost a self-appreciative pat on the back. You know, he's like, yeah, I've proved to a lot of people that I can actually mix it up. So it would be good to see a bit more of that. But as I said on my last point, we've got to get into a situation in a game where we can make them changes to see us on.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, I used to argue on a different podcast all the time about, I like to be entertained, of course I do, but what I like more than being entertained is winning football matches.
Yeah.
And as a supporter, I'd rather see Middlesbrough be more of a machine in the Championship, like what we were under Karanka, like what other sides have been in the division over previous years, like what Sheffield United are now, constantly winning games by the odd goal, scoring a late goal, winning 1-0, 2-1. You know, you need to have that in you to get promotion.
Yeah.
In Middlesbrough, lack it massively. And unless that changes, we're not going to make it. So one thing that could help with make it is the January transfer window that's coming up. So there's a few points with the window opening. LATTE situation. For me, it's going to show a huge lack of ambition if we let LATTE go, if we're in the top 6, trying to make the Premier League, regardless of what the money is, 25 million, 20 million. We can sell him in the summer, in my opinion, and get the same money for him. Why would we do that now? It would show a lack of ambition. And secondly, if we're going to, have a chance of getting promotion, there's certain positions on that pitch now for me, in centre midfield, both full-back positions, where I think Middlesbrough could strengthen. Or is it a case of just keeping what we've got, Simon? Do you think we need players to come in and players to leave, or are you happy just to leave things as they are?
I think the left-back positions we need somebody there, I think. I'd be going to find either a high-quality loan or another younger player. We've not given the young, is it McCormack? We're not really giving him a chance. He's maybe not good enough. But one, Borges looks at, and second, he's just not good enough, I don't think, if we want to get promoted. I've given him quite a fair run. I think most fans have, but he's struggled.
Is he better than Lucas Engel? Because he's apparently fit again. Is he better than him? Because I'll be tempted to bring him back, to be honest with you.
On the part, they just...
You mentioned earlier, Si, that
go on.
The Chef Wed game, Engel's performance.
Yeah.
That was very reflective of Borges' performance yesterday.
Yeah.
Where you're relying on them in a key position to stop crosses coming in, and they're just paying lip service to it.
And lazy,
it's really
action.
Important.
I think
lazy tracking back.
Engel works harder than him. I think that's the only thing I give Engel for. I think Engel would have closed down a bit better. But I think the thing that's been a concern of Borges actually is you can, like with Giles, Giles wasn't the best. All the talk of Giles come back. Giles wasn't a great defender, to to be honest.
No.
He was a brilliant attacking fullback.
That's the calibre of player he likes to side, isn't it?
We've not even seen that side of Borges, really. He cuts inside a lot. I can't recall really a whipped in left-footed ball like they did yesterday that's gone across the 6-yard line. So we've not even got that attacking threat from him that, a Giles might have. But I'd definitely be inclined to look there. Centre midfield, I think Howson's best days are clearly behind him. I thought he had a good second half yesterday, a very poor first half. He did well against Millwall. Barlaser, we've discussed before. I think some legs in central midfield, I think, would be a good place for us to go. And I'm like you, I don't think January is ever a great time to sell players. I don't think you get market value. It feels a bit like, let's get them out the door. We need the cash. So I think if we can keep hold of our players, we should do. Saying that, I think Jones, possibly we might get a little bit of money for. He seems to be chatting about wanting to be out. He's not getting a run, is he? So, if we can bring a few million in maybe from a couple of fringe players, but certainly the key players I think we should be trying to keep hold of.
Graham, what would you do in January? Would you bring any players in or let any players go?
Well, I've said all season that the defence for me, hasn't really been too much of a concern. That's purely down to possession stats and us having a lot of the ball and not really being tested as much as we should be. But recently, I've got to confess that we've been found out quite comfortably in the fullback positions, whether it be Ayling playing, whether it be Dijksteel, whether it be Borges. So I'd be looking to bring in a right back and a left back if possible. And the time limit on Morris is unknown. So if he's going to be out for another couple of months, then we definitely need to address the centre of the park and get some wise old owl in there who knows this league, who can keep the ball and see games out for us. So as Si rightly says, that Howson's just come into the latter stages of his career, sadly. He's been great for us and he was excellent in the Millwall game, but tired yesterday badly. I know he scored. I know Hackney scored. So they could say, well, we did our job, we scored, but we need more in that centre of the park. Games are won in midfield in any level of football, in any league. And that's where we're short. And because we're short there, we're getting cruelly exposed on both flanks. And when you're cruelly exposed on both flanks, your central defensive partnership, they don't know where to go. They don't know whether to come out and go and give them some help, as we saw with Edmondson in that first goal. I have no idea what he was doing out there. I really don't. And I have no idea why he was trying to do a diving header to clear the ball when he just had to put his boat through it and put it up the other end of the pitch. So whatever happened to him yesterday, I do not know, because that was uncharacteristic of him. He's been probably one of our better players in the last 6-7 games, but he was rank bad yesterday.
You mentioned the word there, tired. I think that was a big thing yesterday watching the game, which was a huge surprise and concern was Middlesbrough looked leggy and looked tired all afternoon. They've had a week off. He's actually freshened it up by bringing in 2 or 3 players to freshen it up, and yet we looked absolutely shot. And that was a bit of a concern for me. So I think we need to look at that central midfield position in January and bring in some legs. I know even I'm talking about even if Morris comes back, I think we need somebody else in there if Hackney's not at it, or Howson, as you say, he's had his better days. I think we need somebody else in that position to come in with a bit of quality, and you might see with a bit more competition, Hayden Hackney start to turn back into the player that he was a few months ago. But we're looking at Boxing Day, Sheffield Wednesday come to town, sell out Riverside Stadium. Huge afternoon in store for us. Sheffield Wednesday, 1 defeat in the last 7, 4 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. Coming to the Riverside in form. It's got to be 3 points, so Graham, hasn't it?
Well, it has to be, yeah. I mean, we've got a decent Boxing Day record at home, actually. Full house. Many fans are going to turn up with expectancy, and we've got to deliver. We've got to be on it. Put the Plymouth one to bed. It was a point. We didn't lose, so we can't be too demoralised about that. But it was a game that we should have won. It was definitely wasn't 2 points lost. It was a point gained in all respect. So yeah, we've got to look to beat Sheffield at home. I know they are in good form. They will come and probably make it difficult, and it's up to us to find a way.
Simon, this podcast won't be back until the new year, and I don't normally do predictions, but I'm going to do it today just because I can. That's what being the host can do. But we've got Sheffield Wednesday on Boxing Day, Burnley on the 29th of December, Hull on the 1st of January away, and then home to Cardiff on the 4th of January before we do the next podcast. Not what you would like Middlesbrough to get. What do you think Middlesbrough will get from those 4 games? How many points?
I'm going to say 9 because I think 9. I think Burnley at home is a tough game. Now it's a type of game we could nick a point. I sort of manage my expectations on 2 points a game because I think 2 points a game from now on in. I think we make the playoffs. Top 2's long gone for me. Talked about it before. So as you said, Graham, a point on the road. And if you follow that up with 3 points at home, that 2 point average stays in place. So hopefully 9 points because I think Hull away, Cardiff at home, I think are 2 really good opportunities. I think Sheffield's a tricky game. They've got a very good manager. But the Burnley one's the real difficult one in there for me. So I'll go 9.
Graham, what are you thinking?
Obviously 9, but I think the Burnley game will be the one where we come unstuck. I don't think we'll be able to beat them. I think they'll just have enough endeavour and nous really to see them not get beat. I can see a draw in that game. I could see us just getting over the line against a very resilient Sheffield Wednesday, and we've got to look to bounce back and get 3 at Hull. So I'll go be 7.
What about Cardiff?
Cardiff, that's got to be 3.
So you're going 10.
10, yeah.
You're going 10. Okay, we'll revisit that in January and see how we've done.
I did say that the Burnley draw is I wouldn't say nailed on, but I'm pretty confident in them. I think it'd be very similar game to what we had at Turf Moor. They were a good side, but we played really well on that night, and we've got to find that craft and endeavour again to get a result against them, because they are decent.
I think the key is the Chef Wed game. I think if we can get that win in front of a sellout Riverside, give the players some confidence, it'll give them more confidence going into the Burnley game, and then at the whole game, it's all about momentum.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get the job done against Chef Wed, and the other games will be a bit more in our favour. Right. Since it's Christmas, we'll have a little bit of fun. Why not?
Get me beard on. Keeps falling off.
I'm going to start off. I was bored last night, and I was just sitting thinking about Christmas and thinking of Middlesbrough and having a couple of beers, and I thought, can I name a typical Boro Christmas 11? So I was bored, and I was sitting and I was having a look, and my daughter was laughing at us as I was coming out with different things, and I was looking at different players. And so I've got to see what you think, guys. I've got a Middlesbrough Christmas 11, and this is what I've gone with, right? So in goal, you've probably heard this one before, which I have, Darren Rudolph.
Good one. I'll give you a point for that.
The team is Ugo Eggnog.
Brilliant.
Frankincense Quadrille. Lucas Angel. I've got Jason Ulog. I've gone Robbie Mistletoe. Noel Whelan.
Brilliant.
This one was my favourite that I come up with. Dan Borbalassa. I've got Mustafa Christmas Carryall.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I've got to have him in at number 10. Giannini Ho Ho Ho.
Excellent. Yeah. I was hoping you'd put him in.
I've got your friend, Graham, Bernie Slavan, to make up the 11.
Brilliant.
So that team will be managed by Aito Christmas Cracker. And the referee for the game will obviously be Jeff Winter. Bang.
Brilliant. Can Christmas Karanka's assistant be Mark Robbins?
Get in. Yeah. Well, you want a bit of experience on the touchline? There you go. Get Mark Robbins in.
There you go.
So if you're watching this, Boro fans are listening.
Brilliant.
Get your Middlesbrough Christmas players in the comments, the ones that I haven't thought of, and this, that, and the other. Get them out there for Christmas, and we'll see what we can come up with. We might get a few other squads going on. Now, guys, the last time you were on, Simon, you done the typical Boro Soccer 6 against Graham.
Yeah.
So I know you've got the Harrogate Hounds rivalry. So I thought I'd give Graham an opportunity for revenge.
Okay.
So we're going to have the typical Boro Christmas quiz.
Oh.
Yes, indeed. Oof.
Got no chance.
What we're going to do is we're going heads or tails.
I'll just get my phone so I can Google.
If I've got any suspicions of you cheating, you'll be instantly red carded.
I've got my little elf down here.
Since Simon's the guest, heads or tails, Simon?
I'll go tails, please.
You've got tails.
Okay.
So you've got the opportunity to go first or second.
I'll go first.
You want to go first?
You're on.
Right. So it's best of 5. You'll get 5 questions, Simon, Christmas related. You'll get 5 questions, Graham, Christmas related. Winner's the winner. If it's a draw after the 5 questions each, I've got a deciding question.
Okay.
So
I'm not fancying my chances here, to be.
I don't think it'll get the 5 each.
Neither do I, to be fair. So, right, here we go. I'll start with you, Simon. Question 1. In which year did Middlesbrough last suffer a home defeat on Boxing Day?
Oof.
In which year did Middlesbrough last suffer a home defeat on Boxing Day?
2019. There's a very random guess.
Nope. So you're wrong with that one. Any ideas, Graham? Not that you can cheat, but I'll take a point off him. But just
No, I
in
think
case-
we have, like I said, I think we've got a decent Boxing Day record. It seems quite a while since we did lose one.
when did we last lose at home on Boxing Day?
I'll go 2017.
No. Middlesbrough's last defeat at home on Boxing Day was 2008.
Oof. Wow.
Said we had a good record, but I didn't
Yeah.
think it was that good.
And that was, we lost 1-0 to Everton with a Tim Cahill goal.
Wow.
So that was our last home defeat on a Boxing
I
Day.
think we had a chance to go
Blimey.
top of the league that day or into the top. I have a feeling we were doing well, weren't we, going into that game? Quite high expectation. Anyway.
Wow.
Number
2008.
2 for Simon. In Middlesbrough's Carling Cup winning 2003-2004 season, who scored both goals for Middlesbrough in the 2-2 away draw to Blackburn on Boxing Day? Who
Janine.
got both goals?
Janine.
Correct.
I was at
Spot on,
that game. I
Simon.
think Marcus Babel might have scored their 2 goals, if my memory serves me.
You're off the mark.
No, it wasn't.
You're off the mark. Question 3. Aitor Kranka's first away win came on Christmas Eve on the 23rd of December 2013 against Millwall, thanks to 2 goals from which Argentinian player?
Is it Gaston Ramirez? Sorry, I was waiting for Graham.
No, all the questions are for you. No. No problem. The answer was Emmanuel Ledesma.
Oh,
Wow.
Question 4.
Sorry.
This is for you, Simon. Question
Yeah,
4. They're all for,
sorry.
they're all for you. Which former Boro player was born on Christmas Day, 1957, in Middlesbrough? Which former Boro player was born on Christmas Day in 1957 in Middlesbrough?
Alan Peacock.
He's often on the TV as a clue.
No, pass. Struggling.
Chris Kamara.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Chris Kamara.
yeah.
good one.
Good.
Last one. Middlesbrough won their first ever Boxing Day fixture at the Riverside in 1996, winning 4-2 against Everton. Juninho scored 2 goals, but which 2 players scored the other 2 for Boro on the day?
Ignat.
Correct. Can you get the other one? I'll give you a clue.
No. Go on, sorry, yeah.
I was going to give you a clue. I was going to say he's Welsh.
Okay. Keith O'Neill.
He's Irish.
Irish. Oh. No, I'm not sure.
Do I get a bonus point?
Welsh.
You can answer, but you don't get a bonus point.
Welsh.
Go on, Bandy. What do you think it was?
Blackmore.
Oh, he's just
He's-
beat me. He's just beat me to it.
Graham, are you going to give him it or not give him it?
I'll give him it.
No.
Are you sure?
Christmas spirit. Yeah, he needs a point.
Right, okay.
I need
2 out
him,
of
I
5,
need him.
Simon. 2 out of 5, Simon.
I might nick it off you in a minute, say, when I get none.
You might regret doing that, Graham, but never mind. We'll go into Graham's questions. Who was the last Boro player to score a hat-trick on Boxing Day, and which team was it against? We don't get many hat-tricks, by the way, so don't overthink it. Who was the last Boro player to score a hat-trick on Boxing Day, and which team was it against?
Was it Hendry
No.
against Blackburn? No.
No. Simon, did you do it?
Was it Tuba?
Correct.
Oh,
And
Juba
it
Akpom
was.
against
Oh,
who?
I remember it was against. It wasn't Preston, was it? No.
No, it was Wigan.
Wigan.
4-1
Yeah,
against Wigan in
4-1.
2022.
It was my kid's first football match. That's how I remember it. The wonderful Yvonne Ferguson looked after us. So, yeah, that was their first ever game.
good old Yvonne.
Yeah.
Well done, Yvonne.
Number 2, Graham. Middlesbrough lost 2-1 against Manchester United at Old Trafford on New Year's Eve 2016 in the Premier League. Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba scored for Manchester United. But which Middlesbrough player scored that day, Premier League, against Manchester United at Old Trafford? Anthony Martial, Paul Pogba scored for Man United. But which Middlesbrough player scored that day?
No, I have no idea.
Guess, midfield player.
Is it midfielder? No, can't think.
Grant Ledbetter.
No.
Grant Ledbetter. In which year did Middlesbrough suffer a 3-0 away defeat to Newcastle United on Boxing Day?
89.
Simon, guess.
88.
Is that miles off?
Was it 96?
2001.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Shearer,
We don't
Speed,
sit and play
and
there for
Bernard with the
years.
goal. Yeah, Shearer, Speed, and Bernard with the goals. You need these two, Graham.
I do.
Middlesbrough's two most recent victories on New Year's Day have been against the same team. Which team is this? And that happened in 2018 and 2020. Middlesbrough's two most recent victories on New Year's Day have been against the same team. Which team is this? 2018 and 2020. Who were beaten twice?
Is it Derby?
No.
No.
Simon, can you remember who were beaten on New Year's Day twice? 2018, 2020?
Not Shep. I'm going to say Sheffield.
It was Preston North End.
I nearly
Last
I
one.
knew they played in white.
Yeah.
Do we get
Last
half a point?
This one, and I tell you what, because it's Christmas, if you happen to get it right, because it's a difficult question as
I
well.
won't get it right.
If you get it right and it's a
Chance.
difficult one, I'll give you 2 points, which will give you the tiebreaker. Since the start of the Premier League in 1992, which team have Middlesbrough played the most on Boxing Day fixtures? Facing them a total of 5 times on Boxing Day. So since 1992, Middlesbrough have faced this team 5 times on Boxing Day.
Everton.
Correct?
Get in.
1992, 1995, 1996, 2006, and 2008.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we're
pulled it back.
going to go to a tiebreaker. For the tiebreaker, and you're both obviously going to guess, what was the closest to the pin? What was the attendance of Boro's last home Boxing Day game against Wigan in 2022? And who wants to go first? Simon, go first.
Oh, okay.
What was the attendance? Closest wins.
It's. I'm going to go 33,850.
850 you're going. Graham, what would you want to go, higher or lower?
I'm going lower because I don't think Wigan will have brought too many. So I'll go 29,724.
So, Graham was 1,324 out. And Simon said 33,850, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over 2,000 out then, Adam.
So Simon, 2,802 out. So the winner, he's come back from the dead, is Santa Claus. Well done, Graham.
Well,
You've avenged Simon's Super 6 defeat. And you have both. The Harrogate Hounds are all level again.
Brilliant.
Until the next time we meet again, fellas.
thought you were going to put it down to our win percentage on a Wednesday night. Wow.
Oh, we've just stormed that. We've won that.
We stormed it, didn't we, Bandy? We stormed.
Yeah. If you're on our team, you win.
Right, chaps. So just to finish off the podcast, I've just got a few thank yous because obviously it's the last one of the year and we're not back till January. So I'd obviously like to thank the pair of yous first for coming on, Simon and Graham. Brilliant to have yous on. And I'd like to thank all the guests that have appeared on the Typical Boro podcast so far. I'd like to thank our viewers, our listeners. Without you, there's no podcast. Subscribing to it, liking, rating, and your reviews are all desperately needed to keep this podcast going. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've enjoyed it, please rate and review. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. it'll help us massively. Huge thank you to my daughter Sophie, who is the podcast producer. She does everything on X, on Facebook, everything. She does everything. Without her, Graham will tell you, there would be no podcast. She's absolutely superb.
She's a genius.
She certainly is. So a big thank you to Sophie and a Merry Christmas to her. And I'd like to thank the Red Radio for having us on every Tuesday, 6 till 7. Great for their support, along with Midas Cladden of Middlesbrough for their sponsorship and continued support, who provide the prizes for the podcast every month, and that will continue to do that in 2025. So thanks for that as well. So that's it, guys.
And just thank you as well, Steve. You've done a great job hosting, mate. It's a
Yeah, well done, Dicko.
great new addition.
Thank you very much, chaps.
Yeah, done a great job.
Well, that's it for another one. Remember, don't say Typical Boro. Watch it, like it, and we'll see you next year. Up the Boro.